So I want to show you what we did for Easter this year, but more importantly, I want to walk you through our process of how we arrived at the final result and why I think limitations actually encourage creativity and not the opposite. Hi, I'm Dave Dolphin at practicalworshipblog.com, sharing ideas, tips, and practical advice for the everyday worship leader. On this channel, we have weekly videos that help you lead a worship band and be a leader of people. So if you haven't already, consider subscribing so you don't miss the next one. Easter provides an opportunity to do some different things in our services. So like many of you, we started early trying to come up with creative ideas to share the gospel story. Now, normally I like to start with the idea or the thought and then ask ourselves the question, what's the best way to communicate this message? This year, we actually came up with the communication tool first and then said to ourselves, this is a great way to send a message. What do we want to say? That's not my favorite way for developing creative moments within a service. It's just how things worked out this year. So we have a wood panel wall as a backdrop at the back of our stage. It's this large white Chip and Joanna Gaines shiplap inspired thing, and we just shine a few color bars onto it as our background. We've had this in place since last December, and when we were brainstorming ideas on what we could do for Easter, we thought, what if we got a projector and put video on this wall instead of just lights? This wall is 10 feet by 20 feet. It's painted white, and we thought it would be a great large video screen, but because you can see the horizontal grooves in between all the slats, you would still recognize it as a wall and not just a simple video screen. And we thought that was pretty cool. Life Church does something similar with this diamond chloroplast backdrop. They have a projector that displays video content, but because you can see the grooves between the diamond shapes, it makes the video image more interesting than if it was just a normal video screen. So we grabbed a projector we had laying around the church just to do a proof of concept test. Does the idea itself work? Is it as cool as we think it might be in our heads? And we decided, yes, the idea was good, but we also immediately started seeing the limitations. One, and we knew this going in, we would need to get our hands on a short throw projector. In our proof of concept test with just the normal projector, notice that we had to put the projector on the podium at the very front of the stage just to get the image to fill the entire wall. Fortunately, we had a friend that let us borrow a short throw projector that allows you to get the projector closer to the screen. But even then, we had to put the unit in the middle of the stage on the floor. So we started testing different kinds of content. We tried lyric videos and text. We tried photos. We tried vector images. We tried light things. We tried dark things. Our goal was to see what kind of content looked the best, that really stood out on this particular setup, and then we could design creative elements around its strengths. Now, we could have looked at renting a brighter projector or image blending multiple projectors together, but that comes at a cost. So this is what we learned. We learned that text was not going to work because we were putting the unit on the floor and we had to adjust the keystoning. All text kind of had this intro to Star Wars look. Light images were better than dark images. Anything even remotely moody just didn't show up. Simple images with lots of contrast to the background were better than complex images. And we discovered that it didn't take much light on the stage or in the room to wash out the projector. So whatever we would choose would need to be the focal point for that moment in the service and feel appropriate in a dark room. It's really easy to look at other churches, especially larger churches that seem to have infinite resources and infinite budgets, and envy what they can do. But sometimes the best option is to look around you, see what you already have, and then try to artistically create something with those pieces. It's like when I go out to eat with my kids and they get the coloring menu and 3 colors. You would think that only having 3 colors would limit creativity, but I actually find that it does the exact opposite. Limitations breathe life into creativity. Adam Neely is a musician on YouTube that actually wrote a pretty decent song using only a Casio Rapman and forcing himself to use all 12 minor chords. Phil Hansen is a painter that developed a tremor in his hand, and his doctor encouraged him to, quote, embrace the shake. It's hard to commit yourself to just one idea when you know that there are thousands of other ideas that are just as good, but limitations can actually drive creativity because it points you in a direction and it defines the path. So back to the service, our pastor challenged our church to read through the entire Bible, start to finish, out loud for 72 consecutive hours leading up to the start of our Easter service. Day and night, people signed up for hour-long shifts and came to the prayer room at the church to read, and then the next person would come in and pick up where the last person left off. So knowing that our church as a whole would have just read through the entire Bible and have that fresh on their minds, and knowing what kind of creative elements we were looking for based on the strengths and the limitations of the projector rig, we found this video from Dan Stevers. It fit the theme, and the simple monochromatic imagery looked great on the wall. Another strength we had was the worship band, so we created our own live musical arrangement and narration and used that instead of the original pre-recorded audio track. And this is how we opened up our Easter service.
The one guaranteed to Moses before he died, the one promised to David during his reign, the one revealed to Isaiah as the suffering servant, the one predicted through the prophets and prepared forth through John the Baptist.
For more videos just like this one, consider subscribing to the channel. That way you're notified when the next one uploads. And for more advice, that's for me personally, there's a small little ebook called 20 Things I Wish I Knew 20 Years Ago. It's the advice that I've learned over the last 20 years of doing music ministry, and you can download it right now for free at practicalworshipblog.com.